Hello and welcome to the Creative Writing Podcast, episode 43. I'm your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and this is the podcast for writers, bloggers, and creatives who want to build authentic platform without being smarmy. I'm so glad you're here, and this is going to be a solo episode with no interview. So I'm going to be talking today about virtual summits, because as you may know, if you are in my community on Facebook, which you can find at creativewriting.com/community, or if you are on my email list, which you can get to by creativewriting.com/subscribe, you will know that I have been working on the Profitable Blogging Summit for the last month. So I've been a little bit quiet. I've had less podcast episodes, and yes, I have been buried under a lot of work. And so I thought I would talk today about virtual summits, because I've had a lot of people asking me about what it takes to actually put one together. So I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look at the summit. And also, if you would like to sign up, if you have not already signed up, you can find the information by going to creativewriting.com/summit. So the Profitable Blogging Summit, let me tell you a little about it before I dive into the full look at the behind the scenes of a summit, which is kind of dirty and ugly and may scare you away a little bit, but stick around to hear what goes into this. So the Profitable Blogging Summit is a summit. It's basically a virtual conference online that I have put together with Holly Homer, Becky Mansfield, and Paula Rollo. And they are other bloggers and business people who are making full-time incomes blogging. And I'm actually definitely, I don't know everybody's numbers. I'm definitely the least profitable of all the bloggers on there. But I tend to be kind of a person who is good at putting this kind of stuff together. So this was sort of my brainchild, and I brought them on, and I have a lot of connections because of podcasting with interviewing different people. So I put together kind of things that I would want to know, things I know people are asking, and things that I've been learning, and amazing influencers. So we have over 20 speakers. Most of them are bloggers. If they're not bloggers, they are social media experts, or they're a representative from a brand. We've got Crystal Howard, who is the PR person for Kroger in the Southwest Division, which is an enormous, enormous job. And so she's talking about brands and bloggers. We've got representatives from IZEA, which is a company that does sponsored posts connecting brands and bloggers, Affiliate Window, which does affiliate marketing. So we have more than just bloggers and social media experts, but tons of great people. And I'm just super excited about the content. All of it is related to either blogging or social media, or how to become profitable with what you're doing. And that really looks different for everybody. So actually, one of the sessions I'm going to kind of close with is, what does it mean to be profitable? Because again, I'm not right now making a full-time income. I'm still, I actually shut down several revenue streams because I wanted to focus on other ones that don't pay out as quickly. And I have kind of I think I'm looking at a long game plan here. And so my long-term goals are dictating what I'm choosing to do and how I'm choosing to earn money right now. So that looks a little bit different, but it's actually, I think profitable is more than just how much you're making per month. It's also, is this profitable for your family? And that's something else I've had to really toe the line with. And a lot of people do. If you have kids or a husband or partners or friends or any kind of life outside of your laptop, then you have to kind of think about what's profitable for my life and what's profitable even for my soul. You know, what is good for you? Because I don't know if I'm alone, but I think most of you maybe have hit a point at some time in your life or your career, your business, whether that's working on your blog or working in an office, where you just feel like what you're doing is not good for you. And I know I've hit that with blogging. I know I've hit that with jobs before. And so, you know, blogging should be something that's profitable for your very spirit and kind of the core of who you are. And if it's not, then you need to change some things. So anyway, most of the sessions are focused on being successful, making money, but again, not in a smarmy way, because you guys know me. So it was actually really fun. One of the last interviews I did with Katie Kremitzos from Biz Women Rock, she used the word smarmy like 5 times. It was amazing. So in any case, the summit is really going to be fantastic. It's over 30 sessions. And when you sign up, you will get the links each day. You'll get an email with the links of that day's sessions, and you'll have 48 hours to watch them. So it's kind of like a blogging conference you can watch from home, but you don't have the time pressure to watch it live. You have some time pressure because they're not fully available all the time. But you can have the option to purchase an upgrade and get everything, lifetime access to all the videos forever. And it really is a lot of videos to watch in 1 week. It's kind of like a conference hopped up on steroids. It's just a lot of great stuff. I did a lot of the interviews. I probably did about 90%. I think Paula did a few as well. And so I can tell you that the content's great. So that's the Profitable Blogging Summit. Again, creativewriting.com/summit to sign up for that. And I want to talk about what it looks like behind the scenes, because a lot of people, again, have been asking, what in the world does it take to run a summit? And I'll tell you first that, so I'm going to give you, I guess, 7 or so steps to host a virtual summit or put one together. And the first step is that you basically have to lose your mind because, and I mean this like jokingly, but not really. Like, you really have to be a little bit nuts to do this. And, I've got crazy in spades if you know me. So I kind of saw a lot of people doing summits and saw that they were kind of on the rise, but they're not everywhere like, webinars are everywhere right now. So I decided to hop on board. How hard could it be? I spoke at a summit, so I got to see kind of the back end of how those, the head of that ran the summit. And so I got a little peek into what that kind of looked like on that end. And so I decided I would dive in and do it. And it did mean losing my mind a little bit. I'm still losing it. I think until the summit is over, I will be a little bit crazy. I'm not likely going to be sleeping a lot. I'll get to more of that later, but you really do have to decide that you are committing a big chunk of your time. You are going to have to say no to a lot of things, even normal things. Like I had to say no to a couple podcast episodes this month because I just literally could not do it. I had to say no to some partnerships and other things that came up because I literally did not have the time. So you have to be willing to kind of go a little bit crazy, kind of take everything else off your desk and just focus on this one thing. Even if you're running it with other people, which I'm doing, it's still an enormous amount of work. So the step 1 is to lose your mind and really commit that you're going to do something crazy because it's crazy. It's a crazy amount of work to host a summit. So that's step 1. Step 2, if you know me and you know kind of my trainings or have ever been to one of my workshops, this is not surprising. But number 2 is you need to find your why. So for me, this summit, I was just excited about running a summit. Like I really just wanted to try to run a summit. They're really great for list building. I do hope, because we have the option to do a lifetime access, I do hope to make some income from this, but I'm not sure, what that will be. I haven't read anything about conversion rates and summits, and we did things on that end a little differently as well. So that would be great. But I also just was really, really excited to put something awesome together for people because I just enjoy that. So even if we don't make any money, I'm glad I did it. I don't know that I'll do it again if we don't make any money because the reality is it's too much work for no money. But you do need to think about your why. And I really wanted to give people tools, give bloggers tools that would just help empower them to do better at whatever it is they're doing. And so we have all these sessions on different things like Pinterest and Facebook Live and how to get a post to go viral and all these kind of really specific nitty-gritty things that are going to give people actionable things they can walk away with. And that was really exciting to me. So you have to think about your why. Because the next thing you'll do, step 3, is planning your topic and your speakers. And so the why will kind of inform your topic. And profitable blogging is something that a lot of people are talking about. I know it would have a lot of people interested. And as you guys know, again, I like to do things in a non-smarmy way. And so I've seen a lot of training on how to make money blogging, or a lot of people talking about this. And it does feel smarmy to me. So I wanted to do something that attracted people, because who doesn't want to make money blogging, but also has a little bit more heart maybe behind it. And I hope that comes through in all the sessions, even though I'm talking to all kinds of different people. I hope it's tied together in the summit itself, that it's profitable, but not just raking in the dollar bills kind of a thing. So that was my topic. And kind of in thinking about the topic, I thought about the why. I also thought about speakers, because you have to sort of consider most of these summits that I've seen have speakers, a number of speakers, and you have to consider if you can actually do that. So at this stage, if you're thinking about doing a summit, if you already do not have some connections with influencers or people, they don't all have to be big names. Like I think if you have people that bring value to the table, that could be incredible. You'll have a harder time with promotion because people do want to see some names they recognize. But if you're able to pull value and communicate that to people, that's okay. But you do have to have some relationship. So if you decide, I want to host a summit, but you don't have any kind of connections personally with people, and you do like a cold email to some big blogger or influencer and say, I'd love for you to speak at my summit, chances are they're not going to email you back. You need to really have these relationships established. And I really recommend, if you have people that you would like to at some point, interview for a podcast or connect with or ask to speak at some, any kind of thing that you ever want to ask for, make sure you're connecting with them long before that. You should already, if it's someone you admire, you should already be connected with them on social media. You should already be sharing. I have a list, several lists actually, I share from in Twitter when I'm on my game in terms of scheduling, which has not been this month. But, anybody that I asked to speak at the summit, I was already connected with. I had already shared things with. I had already emailed about something else that was not an ask before I considered asking them to speak, or I'd already done a podcast interview with them and we ended on good terms. Not that I end on bad terms, but some people there was less chemistry than others. Like I wouldn't think about approaching them again, and some people I would. So the people I would think about approaching again that I knew had value to offer for this kind of a lineup. And I actually know tons of people that have lots of value, but it didn't seem quite related to this. And so there were people that I could have asked that I chose not to. So you really need to consider, if you're thinking about doing a summit, do you know people already who could speak? Do you already have those connections? And you should be establishing them long before you ever ask for something. Because again, my word, smarmy, if you follow somebody on Twitter, share a tweet, and then send them an email asking, it's pretty transparent. People see through that. And I know I've actually talked with a brand representative who said that she can always tell when she's about to get an email from a blogger pitching an idea, because that week they'll start sharing things on Twitter. Don't do that. So establish some long relationships with people that you could ask to speak. If you already have those, great. I already did, which is one of the reasons I thought I could pull a summit together, because I made a list of all the people I thought I could ask, and then added to that there were a few people I did cold email once I had a good list of people, like, hey, I know you've worked with this person before. She's speaking at my summit. Would you want to speak? And that worked really well also. So you have to think about your speakers, and you have to, before you ask them also, you have to do the next step. So you want to first lose your mind. Second, think about your why. Third, kind of list out or brainstorm speakers and maybe topics. And then before you reach out, you have to plan more of the structure of your summit. So this is the fourth step. And here's what I mean by that. Most of the summits I've seen cropping up in the last year are free. So people sign up. So they're free in exchange for an email. You have to register. Then you get an email every day for the week of the summit with a couple of links to the videos. And most of the summits I've seen also do the same kind of time sensitive. They're good for 24 hours to 48 hours. And then you can, purchase an upsell. That's a typical structure. Many of them have an affiliate structure. And what that means is that all of the speakers are offered or kind of plugged into the affiliate structure, which means that when they promote, they are given specific unique links, even if it's to the free sign up, so that if that person at some point buys the upsell, they will get compensation. They will get the affiliate commission. And so a lot of summits utilize the affiliate structure to promote. And it's a very good way to do that because people can make money. So let me talk a little bit about the structure a little more. I have also, I think, seen paid summits, but right now the big thing is to do free summits. And with so many free summits, it's going to be hard to have a paid summit that people have to pay to attend. And also then you have to consider paying your speakers. So, because I don't think I would feel comfortable having a paid event where my speakers are free. That just seems icky to me. It seems like using that speaker for their influence and making money off of it. But that's just me. So anyway, you could have a paid summit. If you're having a free summit, you have to consider whether or not you're doing affiliates. Now, I chose not to do affiliates this time. And we may do the summit again next year. We're talking about it. We'll see how this one goes. If we do it again, we may set up an affiliate structure. But there were a few things that kind of stood in my way from that. And the first is just the tech of it. Now, I know with emails like Infusionsoft, which is about $200 a month, you can easily set up that kind of affiliate. Well, actually, I don't even think it's easy. You can set up an affiliate system like this. But otherwise, it's a lot more complex than that, because really what you're doing is you'll have your speakers or whoever your affiliates are, usually it's the speakers, sending a link to something free, like registering for the webinar. And then that tracking code is embedded in that email, that person's email who signs up. So if they ever buy something, and usually it's a lifetime, now I can't think of the word, but basically the tag on there is a lifetime tag. It doesn't expire, so that if that person chooses to buy a year later, that affiliate's still getting that commission. And I know this, again, from seeing the behind the scenes of speaking at a summit this year. So it's a very complex in terms of tech, and I just didn't think I could first pull off a summit and also pull off the tech of affiliate stuff because I don't know it. I would have to learn it. The other thing that really held me back from wanting to do the affiliate is I've been really annoyed by people not disclosing this year. And you guys know that in episode 33, which you can find at creativewriting.com/033, I talked about disclosure and how to do it correctly. And the reality is, according to the FTC, if you are linking to something, even if it's a free something where there's a tracking code that's going to give you an affiliate commission, if somebody buys something later, you have to disclose that. The reality is with these summits, no one is disclosing. Now, I disclosed when I promoted the summit I spoke at, and it was very awkward. And I think this is what I think people don't know. And if they do know, it's just really awkward to do it because it was really awkward to find a way to disclose like, hey, here's a free summit link. Come hear me speak for free. And also if you buy something, I get a commission. It just it seemed like jumping the shark. I don't even know if that phrase fully applies here, but to me, it just seemed like a really awkward thing that stuck out. But I didn't feel comfortable promoting it, knowing that was an affiliate link with a tracking code without telling people. And the FTC agrees with that. And for me personally, I want to be on the up and up about these things. I don't want to have hidden things. And it really made me feel tricked when I realized how a lot of these summits were working, that people were promoting because it was a great summit, but also because they were getting money. And it does make a difference. Yes, I probably would still sign up for free with someone's link. But if you're getting like 6 emails in a certain week talking about a summit, for the most part, the reason you're getting all those 6 emails is those people are affiliates. They're probably not disclosing. And this is based on my experience in seeing this happen again and again and again in my inbox for these summits. Chances are they're not disclosing, but that's an affiliate link. And I didn't want to have to run into that issue because I'm pretty anal about that. And I didn't want to have to go through first figuring out the tech and secondly, training every single person that asked to be an affiliate and trusting them that they were going to disclose that. So I just decided to leave that piece out. Now, the upside to using affiliates is you get more promotion because people can make money. And a lot of the speakers do like that. But the downside of that, besides the tech and the disclosure issue, which I really do think is important, the other downside is that I did have a few speakers ask what the requirements were for them. And when you're doing an affiliate thing, the requirements often are, you're not required necessarily to promote, but you have to sign up. You have to do a lot more. And typically the expectation is that you do a lot more. I really wanted to have a summit where I treated the speakers like VIPs. I was not asking any more from them than the time that they gave to give me an interview that they were not being paid for. I think that's a lot to ask, to give up 30 minutes for something they're not getting paid for. Yes, it gets them exposure. Yes, it can be really good for them. It can introduce them to people, but I know the summit I spoke at, I think there were supposedly, according to what their estimations were, like 20,000 people. I got maybe 5 email signups, and I did have someone email me that they loved my session. There was not a great return on investment. For me, I really hope there's a better return on investment for the speakers. I've asked everybody for a freebie or just a link to their email signup. So that's going to go on their video page. I've made special images to share for each speaker and bios and really tried to promote those on social media and on the Profitable Blogging Summit website, which is profitablebloggingsummit.com. And so I really wanted to make it a good thing for the speakers as much as possible because I'm not paying them. And so to ask them, I think with the affiliate, there's often like an expectation of a lot more sharing. And a few people said yes, only if that was the expectation, that there was no sharing necessarily. And I think people probably will once they see the summit and see the sessions. And if they're proud of what they talked about, they will share. But a lot of them are really busy. They don't have a lot of time. They don't want to get sucked into promotion. I also read an email recently, or actually a blog post, about why you shouldn't speak at summits. And it was talking all about how many summits just take from the speakers. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to give as much as possible. I wanted to do a lot of social sharing. I wanted to do a lot of promoting those speakers. And we created a Facebook group for the people signed up, and I'm promoting everybody in there, giving out links. I told the speakers, hey, if you want to show up in the Facebook group, great. You don't have to. You can totally promote your products in the group. And so I've had several people join in, and I hope they do promote products, because if people are interested in what they talked about, if they have a course or a book, I'd love for people to know. So I did not want to have an affiliate program also for that reason, to just give them one more thing to do, because I do know one of the people said they would not do it if there was an affiliate program, which I thought was really interesting. So there's an upside and downside. If you don't have Infusionsoft, if you don't have a familiarity with tech for affiliate programs, it's just going to be a big pain. So know the structure, because your speakers are going to want to know, what do you expect of them? What is going to be required? And so I was able to email and say, the only thing required is 30 minutes of your time, and then let me know what links I can share for people to join your list. And that was it. So no more requirements for that. But it is really important to know ahead of time. And if you are going to do affiliates, make sure you have people disclosing. Again, you can listen to episode 33 if you want to learn more about disclosure. Okay, so number 5 is the actual recording. And the nice thing is there's so many free ways to do this. So I recorded mostly on Google Hangouts, and Google Hangouts can be a little bit buggy. It can be really great, but I had a few bugs. So you can record over Google Hangouts. You could set up a private Hangout. It goes right to YouTube. So you can either share the video from there, and you choose the privacy at the very beginning when you set it up. But you can share from there, or which I did is downloaded them. I'm adding intros to the beginning and end. And then I'm putting them on Vimeo so that there will be privacy. So they're not just going to be unlisted on YouTube, where people could share them and other things. It's going to be private. And so people can't just share them around, because again, we are doing the lifetime access. So I don't want people just to be able to save or download the videos. So you need to record them. I also used Skype the times that Google Hangout was buggy. They record differently, so there will be a few sessions that look a little different, which that bothers me, but there's nothing you can do. One session with Amy Lynn Andrews, actually the whole thing cut out in the middle. And so right towards the end of our interview, all of a sudden it ends. And so then I was kind of left scrambling to and that we just heard from Amy Lynn Andrews and come up with kind of a recap of the session, because it was just over. There was nothing we could do. It ended. So you will have some bugs. You have to just do your best to kind of hang out and work through them. Most of the time, Google Hangouts worked great. A few times it didn't. And you can also use Skype. I have Ecamm, which is what I use for my podcast interviews. It also can record video. And so for the videos that were recorded on Skype, it's a side-by-side view of both of us, and Google Hangouts flips back and forth between you and the person. And for the most part, we just did interviews. A few people did slides. And so with Hangouts, the nice thing is that you can screen share and then kind of make it kind of bookmark that person. So their slides show. So if you cough or something, it's not going to flip back to showing your face as you're coughing. So yeah, you're going to record all the videos. And that is an enormous amount of work depending on how many you have. I did probably 20 something interviews this month. So it's a lot of hours. I really do like talking to people, but again, I'm such an introvert. I'm exhausted, you guys. So record them, and then promotion. And that's really going on while you're doing all this other stuff. So while I've been doing this, I've also been promoting. And this is the hardest part, especially if you don't have affiliates, because you'd think everybody would want to go to a free summit. You'd think, because it's free, it's really great speakers. But I know the first, Lead Pages is what I'm using currently. I'm kind of mixed on whether I'm going to continue using them when my year runs out. But one page that I didn't have great conversions. And I was surprised by this, because I'm like, I sign up for anything free, especially if there's value. But I was surprised that people didn't. And I think the affiliates are a huge piece of getting that promotion out, because then what you're doing is you're kind of hopping on the backs of those influencers and letting them promote for you. So we will have less promotion because we didn't do affiliates. And I knew that going in. But between the 4 of us, and this is one reason we had 4 hosts, myself, Holly Homer, Becky Mansfield, and Paula Rollo, we all have big audiences. And so we have been reaching out through our own Facebook groups and our own email list to get those signups. But promotion is a beast. It just is. No matter whether you're promoting a blog post or a summit, it's just a beast. And you have to kind of find creative ways to do this. You have to play nice in Facebook groups and don't go dropping links everywhere. If you're not allowed, you can ask group admins. You can do all kinds of things, the same kind of things you normally do to promote. Facebook ads, all of those things come into play, and you're going to be doing that kind of the whole time. And then you also need to know sort of how the back end goes. And so this is step number 7. So you've got, I'm just going to recap. You lose your mind first to decide you want to do it. You figure out your why, you plan the speakers, you plan the structure before you ask those speakers, you record them, you do promotion, and then you're going to put it together. So this is number 7. And some of this you also have to do before promotion even. So for email, you have to put together, where is this list going to go? Are you going to put it as a new segment in your list? Or are you going to open a new list? I kind of made some missteps here in that I did not open a new account with ConvertKit or with MailChimp. I created a separate segment and a separate form that went through my already set up ConvertKit. So what this meant is, without realizing it, I didn't set this up ahead of time. I started promoting to my list, just sending them the link to the summit. Then what happened is when I wanted to send out the weekly quick fix, which I send out on Thursdays, my weekly email, I wanted to exclude the Profitable Blogging Summit people, but some of my list had already signed up for that. So then I had to go through and kind of jerry-rig a segment of people who were signed up for the Profitable Blogging Summit, but also signed up for something else to make sure I wasn't spamming people with all kinds of emails weekly for the summit that didn't want anything but the summit, but also that my current subscribers who had signed up for the summit were getting what they wanted. So these are things you don't think about ahead of time. In the future, what I would have done is, before I promoted to my people through my Facebook group, I would promote via email and let people register, which is what I did later, by clicking a link and using that tagging automation where those people automatically got tagged that they are already subscribed to me, but also want to go to the summit. And it's amazing in ConvertKit you can do that. And so what that allows me to do is to be really targeted, so I can still send those people the quick fix every week and also the summit things, but not bother all the summit people who have signed up who don't maybe even know me. They're not going to get my weekly email and unsubscribe before the summit even starts because they're confused. So you got to plan out some of that structure. You also need to plan out how you're going to bring people on board. What kind of automation are you going to have? Autoresponders, telling people, because I started to get questions immediately from people, even though I felt like I had clearly explained when the summit was and all that. I guess I didn't as much as they needed. And so you may need to set up like a welcome series. And then you also have to think about, what do you have sending out if people sign up the week of? Because I know a lot of speakers will promote on the day their session is live. So I need to change the automation so it's not saying next week the summit starts. It's today, and, having the kind of information they need. You got to think about a lot of things that you may not think about. And then you also have to think about, where is this going to be hosted? We started a new site. If you're going to do a paid option, how are you going to do the membership side of that? How are you going to do the payment side of that? Where are the videos going to live? And build all that out. So those are a lot of steps. Again, let's go back to number 1, going crazy, right? This is a lot of work. But really, it's not hard work. It's a lot of steps. And I would recommend not doing it alone. You definitely need to hire people for different things. I hired Stephanie Jones, who's actually one of our speakers, to do our logo, which I love. And I should have hired someone for video, and now it's too late because I realized I didn't need a lot of editing, but I did want to do an intro for each video. I realized that it was going to take me forever, but it also takes forever to send somebody a 25-30 minute video interview. And so last night while I was planning to send someone a Dropbox folder full of movies, in the time it took me to actually send one movie to them, I was able to update or edit 3 of the interviews. And so I was like, never mind, I'm just doing it myself. So I may be up all night every night for the next week, but it's going to get done. So anyway, that's important to note. And then the last step is number 8, which is die. And really, that's kind of what's involved in a summit, because after this, you're just going to crash. You're going to just crash. So that is my overview of what it takes to do an online summit. And if you want to see all this in written form, you can go to createifriday.com/043. Okay, I'm going to go die now because I'm still editing videos, but I thank you for listening. And if you have questions about Summit, leave a comment, shoot me an email, kirsten@kirstenoliphant.com. A big thank you, as always, to Jasmine Commerce of JasmineCommerceMusic.com for the music on this podcast. If you like what you hear, and how can you not? She's really amazing. You can head over to JasmineCommerceMusic.com and check out all of her songs. And I hope you have an inspired week.